What's up YouTube? PJ Cole here. Thank you so much for taking a couple minutes to watch this video and welcome to PJ Cole Sports. Here we'll be covering any and every sport you can think of. We'll be doing best ofs, worst ofs, highlights, sports histories, biggest moments, and much, much more. So please subscribe to this channel if you love sports. And we take suggestions, baby, so feel free anytime to leave a comment below or go over and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at pjcole_YT. It'll be right here and in the description. For our very first video, we wanted to cover something that is both a big sports moment and has very recently come back into the news cycle. And that is the crazy tale of Armando Galarraga and his perfect game. Armando Galarraga was a Venezuelan pitcher in the MLB. He first came on the MLB scene on September 15th, 2007, making his official debut for the Texas Rangers. So he got a little bit of playing time at the end of the season. The very next year, in 2008, he was traded to the Detroit Tigers, where he went on to have a very successful early career. He finished his 2008 season with a 13-7 record, an ERA of 3.73, with 126 strikeouts. He even finished fourth in the voting for the 2008 Rookie of the Year award. In 2009, he fell off a bit. His ERA slid to 5.64, which admittedly was below average. This led to him getting significantly fewer starting opportunities. 2009 ended up being fairly forgettable for Galarraga. In 2010, things got a little bit worse and much more unstable for Galarraga. He had a horrible spring training, and so they demoted him to AAA. Throughout the season, he went back and forth from the Tigers' AAA affiliate in Toledo to the actual Tigers. Galarraga again got called back up to the Tigers in May 2010 and was inserted into the starting rotation. Keep in mind, this is a team that at one point had Dontrelle Willis, Max Scherzer, and Justin Verlander all in their starting rotation. But because of circumstances, Galarraga was called upon. Dontrelle Willis got hurt, and Max Scherzer, shockingly, also got demoted to AAA, forcing Galarraga to step up. And then came the day that would change Armando Galarraga's life and Major League Baseball forever. June 2nd, 2010. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Armando Galarraga's number was called to pitch against the Cleveland Indians. There's a quote from the baseball movie Summer Catch that goes, quote, "When you're a pitcher, you have to pray that your stuff will show up. Then one day, you have this moment when it all just arrives. Everything clicks. Command, control, velocity, you feel invincible. You'll spend many nights out there looking for it, but once you've found it, just once, it's yours. You have it inside you and you know you have it." Unquote. This quote could have easily applied to Armando Galarraga on the night of June 2nd, 2010. He had it, and he knew he had it. No one could touch him. He pitched the perfect game. A perfect game in baseball is a big deal. It happens when nobody so much as gets a walk off of you all night long. No runs, no hits, no walks, no hit by pitches, nothing. No base runners of any kind. It's not easy to do, and it hasn't been done very many times. The batters on the opposing teams make millions of dollars to ensure that it rarely happens. In the 150 years of Major League Baseball history and over 218,000 games played, there have only officially been 23 recorded perfect games by modern rules. And that night, June 2nd, 2010, Armando Galarraga did just that. He pitched 8 2/3 perfect innings, 26 up and 26 down. It wasn't all just great pitching that night, it was also great fielding. Galarraga only recorded 3 strikeouts, but no one could get a clean hit off of him all night, and his teammates really stepped up and had a great game. Then, on the final batter, number 27, rookie Jason Donald hit a little lazy roller towards the first base second base gap. First baseman Miguel Cabrera was forced off of first base in order to field the ball, and Galarraga was tasked with covering first base. Cabrera fields the ball cleanly and throws a routine ball to Galarraga in stride covering first base. And then it happens. It all happened so fast in the blink of an eye. It looked like they had recorded the final out, but umpire Jim Joyce called Donald safe. None of us realized what had happened until a few moments later after seeing the instant replay that clearly showed that Donald was indeed out. Umpire Jim Joyce unfortunately completely blew the call. The announcers were stunned, and you can tell from their reaction.
Are you kidding me? Why is he safe? See right here. Why is he safe? Oh my goodness, Jim Joyce! No! Jeez Louise! Oh my goodness! What a travesty! What an absolute travesty!
The fans were furious, and Jim Leland was straight up pissed. This was a crushing blow. Galarraga didn't show it on his face, showing only a wry smile, but he was devastated. He finished the game, retiring the very next batter with a one-hit shutout that should have been a no-hitter and a perfect game. As soon as the game ended, Jim Leland came storming out of the dugout, accompanied by many other Tigers, to give Jim Joyce a piece of their mind. Jim Leland said after the game that he just got a little hot under the collar in the moment, and he just wanted it so bad for Galarraga.
I yelled a little bit after the game because the emotions are high, and, like I said, we had the luxury of the replay. So that's a little unfair, but, you just want it so bad for the kid. But that's the nature of the business.
Many referred to the game as the 28-out perfect game, the imperfect game, and the almost perfect game. Fast forward to post-game press conferences, and after seeing the replay, Jim Joyce and Armando Galarraga were both interviewed. Jim Joyce was clearly very regretful and apologetic, saying with tears in his eyes, quote, "I did not get the call correct. I kicked the shit out of it. I took a perfect game away from that kid over there who worked his ass off all night. It wasn't just a call, it was a history call."
No, I did not get the call correct. I kicked the shit out of it. I take pride in this job, and I kicked the shit out of that, and I took a perfect game away from that kid over there that worked his ass off all night. This isn't a call. This is a history call, and I kicked the shit out of it. And there's nobody that feels worse than I do.
He clearly felt awful. This call would haunt him for years to come. Make no mistake, Jim Joyce is one of the best umpires of all time. He takes pride in his job. But he simply blew the call. And in his words, it was a history call. Surprisingly, Armando Galarraga was very gracious. He did the right thing by saying that nobody's perfect and forgiving Jim Joyce for the blown call. The two have become something of friends, even writing a book together called Nobody's Perfect. The way both men handled the situation was very respectable, but it didn't change the facts. Armando Galarraga got screwed by the human error component of baseball. As fate would have it, on the very next night, the Tigers were set to take on the Indians again. And who was one of the umpires for the game? Jim Joyce. As the umpires came out of the tunnel, he kept his head down, trying to hold back tears. He tried to blend in and not stick out.
Here they come. The four-man umpiring crew is headed out to the field right now. Jim Joyce will be the home plate umpire. There is Jim Joyce crossing the threshold right now, and hopefully Tigers fans will give him a hand. You can see the emotion on the face of Jim Joyce. Oh, this is so amazing.
But once he got out on the field, Armando Galarraga came up to him like a man and shook his hand.
This is something that he has obviously never had to deal with in his career. He is trying to deal with it right now. He is trying to hold back the tears. And Jim Joyce is standing up like a man today, and he is calling balls and strikes, and he has just taken the line.
The two would receive much praise for their handling of the situation. I don't mean to be an armchair umpire here, but if a kid's throwing a perfect game in his home stadium, and on batter number 27, there's a close call at first, I don't care. I'm calling him out, and I'm going home a hero. But that's not what happened. This has forever altered baseball history. The number of perfect games should be 24. Plus, it's worth mentioning that this couldn't happen in today's MLB thanks to the institution of expanded replay in 2014 and 2015. But everyone remembers the imperfect game. Galarraga would go on to have an average career, bouncing back and forth from team to team and AAA affiliates, never fully forgetting the events of June 2nd, 2010. Everyone knows that Armando Galarraga threw a perfect game that night. Everyone except the history books. But we, the fans, will never forget. So, end of story, right? Not a happy ending, but an ending nonetheless. We can all move on, but not so fast. A full 10 years after the infamous blown call, it's back in the news cycle. Armando Galarraga is now pleading with Rob Manfred and the MLB to award him the perfect game. This would be very unprecedented, seeing as how they're never keen on altering the history books, and I'm usually right there with them. But not in this case. I fully believe that they should award Armando Galarraga the perfect game that he so greatly deserved and earned. One of the main things I would like to point out is that it's not like there was a blown call in the 5th inning, because if there was, you can't dictate what happens after that. But this was the very last out. This was number 27. It should have ended right then and there. They should award him the perfect game, because that's exactly what it was. Perfection. Even Jim Joyce agrees with me, voicing his opinion that they should give Armando Galarraga his perfect game. And I'm sure most true baseball fans would agree. Official word hasn't come down from Rob Manfred or the MLB, seeing as how Armando Galarraga just started this campaign recently. We'll see if the league does the right thing. They're a little preoccupied at the moment. They're scrambling, scratching, and clawing for their league to proceed going forward in the midst of a terrible global pandemic. But hopefully, the situation turns out like it should for everyone involved. So that's the latest on the crazy, crazy saga of Armando Galarraga and his perfect game. And if anything else happens going forward, or if there's any official word, we'll be all over it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like because it really helps us out. We're just getting started. And be sure to subscribe to PJ Cole Sports if you love sports and want to see more. We're going to be making a lot of great sports videos going forward, and you're not going to want to miss any of them. So, thanks again so much for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next one. I am PJ Cole, and I am out.